You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Excited to be here with you today, where we are going to actually take a little step back from our Friday reviews, where we're usually bringing you, my favorite products, my favorite books that I've been reading, all the different research that I like to bring you as well each and every Friday. And today, I want to answer a very popular question that's been coming in, meaning what's the difference between getting whole food vitamin C and ascorbic acid, when to use them, when not to use them. And of course, I want to bring you our super nutrient of the week. And our super nutrient of the week is going to tie right into vitamin C. It's sometimes called vitamin P. So looking forward to bringing you that today. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So everyone usually, and I use everyone obviously as a blanket statement, right? People like to get into camps. If you listen to yesterday's podcast, you heard me talk about all of the different exercise that's really transpired over the last 30 years, where if you're not doing spin, you're not doing it right. If you're not doing CrossFit, you're not doing it right. If you're not doing kettlebells, you're not doing it right. If you're not doing a lot of cardio, you're not doing it right. If you're not doing Pilates or yoga or any of these things, you're not doing it right. Well, here's the deal. They can all be right. They really can. Everybody can be right. But it's all about balance. It's about balance. So hopefully you tune into yesterday's show with the 4 most important types of exercise. I basically just read the simple research that Harvard Health, they're in one of their Harvard medical newsletters, came out with last year, and I was happy to bring that to you. Now today, I want to just really straightforward. Again, my goal is to bring you the truth from both sides of the aisle, and with that there's a time and place for ascorbic acid and then whole food vitamin C. So let's explain the difference. Okay, ascorbic acid is vitamin C. Okay, it's vitamin C, but it's one isolated part of vitamin C. So think of it this way. When you have an orange, you have a peel and then you have the fruit on the outside. Well, think of ascorbic acid as the skin, right? Think of it as the outer layer. Ascorbic acid is part of vitamin C. It's part of what's called ascorbinogen. And what that does is it helps to protect the other, more fragile forms of vitamin C on the inside. Those would be made up of things like the bioflavinoids, the phytonutrients, which we'll talk about in a minute, rutin. So we'll go into those, all right? So ascorbic acid plays a huge role in vitamin C, but when you see ascorbic acid alone in a supplement, it's not a full spectrum vitamin C. It's one part of vitamin C called ascorbic acid. So you're essentially looking at more like the outer layer of vitamin C, almost like the wrapper, right? The wrapper around one of your favorite treats, or I like to think of it as the roof over a house. It's the protective layer that protects the other forms of vitamin C because it's a very powerful antioxidant. So very, very important to look at it and not overlook it as it doesn't count because it's not true vitamin C. Well, it does matter, and it works really well in functional medicine. So I want to bring you, though, when would I use ascorbic acid in functional medicine? Well, I've actually seen it work really well in cardiovascular-based issues, gut-based issues, and I've seen it work incredibly well with issues such as urinary tract infections, okay? And also with heavy metal-based detoxes as well. Here's why. Ascorbic acid is more acidic. And what does that mean? Well, it's more acidifying when it comes into your body. So it actually helps to kill bacteria in the gut, in the stomach, and then if it hits the bloodstream, it's been shown to also help kill viruses. So we use it in that way. And so it can help really well, meaning it's a part of pure ascorbic, L-ascorbic acid is in our healthy urinary tract protocol. We don't use the alkalizing vitamin C, which is a product I formulate as well for Equilibrium Nutrition. And that's because I don't need to promote my products, meaning I don't need to use a product if it's not the best call for it. And the best call for the urinary tract protocol is pure ascorbic acid. So that's what we do. So I just want to show you, and same for viral-based issues, we use pure ascorbic acid. It's been shown to work really, really well. Again, Linus Pauling showed it to work really well for cardiovascular-based issues and other viral-based issues as well. So we can use it for that. That's from Dr. Linus Pauling. Now, there's also a time and place, though, where you don't always want to be using just pure ascorbic acid. So, for example, here's the deal. If you're looking for higher dose vitamin C, you're most likely going to have to get in some ascorbic acid because it's very challenging to get whole food vitamin C at a higher dosage. And we know that in order to kill viruses, in order to really boost the immune system, at least temporarily, we'll want to use higher vitamin C. So another example would be our allergy protocol. We know vitamin C is a very potent antihistamine, right? It's a very potent antihistamine, anti-mast cell, so antihistamine-based producer. So what we'll use in that case is actually the alkalizing vitamin C. We'll use that as a buffered vitamin C that contains the calcium, the magnesium, the potassium. We can use it as a high dose. It's not going to hurt the stomach, and it's going to help buffer acidity in the body. That will also help with allergies. So really, really powerful. I learned that about 20 years ago when I had debilitating allergies, the worst allergies. They were terrible. And obviously now they're much, much better. So different times to use different types of vitamin C. But now let's talk about whole food vitamin C. Really important. So what's whole food vitamin C? Well, whole food vitamin C would be coming from natural phytonutrients. And what are natural phytonutrients? Well, you hear the word nutrient, right? Hear the word nutrient, and then look at the first part of that. It's phyto, meaning plant-based, okay? So they're coming from fruits and vegetables. All right, so what does that mean? Well, plant-based phytonutrients are going to contain the bioflavinoids, the antioxidants that come from fruits and vegetables. They're going to contain the rutin. They're also going to contain the ascorbic acid. They're going to contain that naturally. They'll contain something called tyrosinase. They'll contain something called factor J, factor K, and factor P. And what are all of those? Well, let's go into those right now. So in whole food vitamin C, which you won't get just in ascorbic acid, is you're going to get the P factors, which help with blood vessel strength, which is why they've been shown to be good for cardiovascular-based strength, for blood pressure. You're going to find the J factors, which help to bring more oxygen to red blood cells. So example, one reason why people might be a little bit anemic isn't just because of iron, meaning like if they're not getting enough oxygen to their cells, well, it can be because of B vitamins. It can be because of certain minerals such as magnesium, calcium. It can be because of vitamin K. It can be because of zinc. It can be because of copper. It can be because of vitamin C. We have to look at all of those, right? All of those, very, very important. And then tyrosinase is an essential enzyme. So it's an enzyme for enhancing your white blood cell effectiveness. So what does this do? Well, it helps to boost the immune system, which is why vitamin C is so important for everyday use, not sometimes use, but everyday use. And again, like the reason we heard about vitamin C in the first place is because of scurvy, right? It's because of scurvy, but most people now in developed countries aren't going to get scurvy because they're going to get some type of food-based vitamin C, whether it's from fruits and vegetables or beans or something like that. And it's actually, so like sailors on boats used to bring limes with them. It's where the word limey came about, right? So the sailors would eat limes. Even just a lime would prevent them from getting scurvy. Same thing actually with potatoes. In potatoes, all they found that you would need is simple 20 milligrams of whole food vitamin C. Now, it's just enough to prevent scurvy. It doesn't mean that these people are going to be healthy. That's for sure they're not with 20 milligrams of vitamin C a day. But it was enough to prevent scurvy just from lime or potato-based edibles. So here's the interesting thing, though. We've seen through research that more like a gram a day, like more like 1,000 milligrams a day is going to keep the immune system boosted. It's going to help with, again, like I said, blood vessels. So good for the heart, good for pulmonary function, good for stroke prevention, good for blood pressure, good for overall anti-tumor, good for knocking down histamines. So I look at it as this. There's a time and a place for everything. So again, I used to be an idealist as well, and I certainly did, but in my idealistic world, just some things didn't come true. And I tried to get myself better through whole food alone. I tried to get myself better through juicing alone. I tried to get myself better through all sorts of different things 15 to 20 years ago. Some of them came true, some of them didn't come true. It is what it is, okay? Well, my goal is to bring you what works. And in my practice, what do I need to do? I need to help people get better, even if they've failed 10 times in the past, 20 times in the past, 30 times in the past. It's my job to make sure that they don't fail this last time. And so what I need to do is not keep myself closed off to anything in life. So people are like, oh, are you keto? Are you paleo? Are you this? Are you that? I say I'm nothing and I'm everything all in one. And the reason is I don't believe that everything is best for everyone. And I don't believe that anything, for the most part, is that bad if it's done in the short term, right? So even pharmaceutical use in the short term could be what you need. Again, usually never, but could be what you need, especially in life-saving conditions. And then, of course, it is needed, right? So here's the deal. If you come to me with a short-term based issue like a urinary tract infection, if you come to me with cardiovascular-based issues, if you come to me with allergies, if you come to me with any of these things, in the short term, I'm not curing any diseases. It's not what I do. What I look for are underlying imbalances. And in the short term, I'm going to help with those imbalances. And I'm going to get the body righted. I'm going to right the ship. So what I'm going to do is, if it's a urinary tract issue, if it is an issue that calls for ascorbic acid, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that viral base. I'm going to use that herpes. I'm going to use that. So here's the deal. I'm going to use that until I get your body balanced somewhere between 6 and 12 weeks. And then I'm going to wean you off of that. All right. Then I'm going to use predominantly whole food, lower dose based sources. I use every single day myself. I take 2 capsules of full spectrum vitamin C every single day. If you want to hear a whole episode just on the super nutrient of the week of vitamin C, I'll link that up in the show notes. Simply go to stevencabral.com/805. I'll link up my whole episode just on vitamin C and the benefits of vitamin C. Today, I'm describing the differences between whole food vitamin C and ascorbic acid. Both are great. Both can be used. And I look at ascorbic acid more for the short term, and I look for full spectrum vitamin C in the long term. So what is this full spectrum vitamin C? And again, pick up your favorite product. Again, this is one that I formulated that I thought was phenomenal and had everything that I wanted. So it has, in one capsule, again, I take 2 of these a day, 400 milligrams of ascorbic acid, also derived from acerola fruit. Really important because it's not just derived from cornstarch, which is where a lot of your ascorbic acid will come from. All right. So then I also, in this product, have acerola fruit. Acerola berry is natural vitamin C. I have quercetin in there. Quercetin, I'm going to be talking about that in a moment in my super nutrient of the week, not just in quercetin. This is really powerful as a natural antihistamine. It's also shown good for blood pressure and blood vessel health and cardiovascular. So important. Hesperidin, hibiscus flowers, that's where the natural vitamin C is coming from. And then rutin, which is the inner layer, right? The inner part of that vitamin C, not the outer layer, which is the ascorbic acid. And with the rutin has been shown to give you the whole food effects of the vitamin C. That has been shown. So really important. I love this product. If we're looking at it, let's see what it is. It's 250, about 300. So you're getting close to 1 gram a day in vitamin C with 2 capsules of the full spectrum vitamin C. I take 1 with breakfast and I take 1 with dinner. It's super simple. I mean, that's literally what I do. That's how I maintain my vitamin C. Now, if I get sick, I have a bottle of my alkalizing vitamin C. Right when I wake up in the morning, a full scoop of that. If needed, during the day. Before bed, another scoop. And I'm just loading up on my vitamin C for anywhere from 2 to 3 days to boost my immune system and just knock whatever that is, virus, bacteria, out of my body. That's what I do. So, I mean, that's what I do myself. Of course, that's what I'm going to share with you. So that's how I use vitamin C. I mean, it works really, really well. Like, anyone who's not a proponent of vitamin C just hasn't looked at the research, because the research is, I mean, it's outstanding, right? We have everyone from Royal Lee back in the day. We have Linus Pauling, which is kind of like the future of medicine. He's passed away. We've got Dr. Andrew Saul. Everybody promotes vitamin C, right? Because it's what's needed. And so it's not if you need vitamin C. The argument is over what type. I just shared with you today how to use what type. Virus-based, use the ascorbic acid. It can work great. Urinary tract infection-based, ascorbic acid can work great. I use the alkalizing vitamin C for allergies. I also use it for common colds. And then for daily use, I use 2 capsules of the full spectrum vitamin C. It's all natural. You could even use 1 capsule with kids if you wanted to. Let's say over the weight of around 60, 70 pounds. Adults, you can just use 2 capsules a day. Super simple, super easy to do. Could you take more? Absolutely. But I don't think it's necessary. Just for maintenance use, 2 capsules. It's worth it. Totally worth it. In my opinion, $1 a day, I believe that's all it costs. And that's how I keep myself healthy. It's also energized because you need that vitamin C for energy and oxygen. But now let's talk about the super nutrient of the week, which I think is going to help you. It makes a lot more sense. And obviously I paired them for a reason. So vitamin P is our super nutrient of the week. We've never heard of vitamin P. There's no such thing as vitamin P on a multivitamin. I don't see a vitamin P on there. Yes. And it's because some of the vitamins, they give themselves a fancy little name. But what I'm talking about here today are bioflavonoids. Some people pronounce them bioflavonoids. Why do I say bioflavonoids? Because there's a V, 1 consonant surrounded by 2 vowels. So I prefer to pronounce things phonetically. That way I just can't really go wrong, right? It's hard to memorize every different phonetic and little phenome and all of these different things. So what I look for is that's how I pronounce it. You can pronounce it bioflavonoids. It's the same thing, all right? It's funny, like in this industry, I've heard people in a health food store, that's how this came about. Yeah, you heard me before. I love going into like local mom and pop health food stores. I love it. I was just actually there last weekend in Maine in my favorite little local health food store. Did I need anything? No. Do I have an entire medicine cabinet of natural vitamins in my house? Yes. But I always go there. I always pick something up just to support them. And you've heard me say that before. But literally 2 people were arguing, the person working the front desk and a shopper, over it was pronounced flavonoid or flavonoid. And I was like, what are we really talking about here? Semantics, that's it. So anyway, bioflavonoids are actually contained within other whole foods like vitamin C. So vitamin C contains bioflavonoids. And what are bioflavonoids? Well, bioflavonoids, they're made up of, it's a category, okay? It's a category basically of antioxidants, but what they're made up of is isoflavones. They're made up of anthocyanidins. They're made up of flavins. They're flavonols, flavones. And so what are these things? Well, think of them as a category that then contains in its subcategories such as quercetin. So other antioxidants such as, like example of a flavonoid is rutin and hesperidin, which I just named in my full spectrum vitamin C, right? Well, these are flavonoids, or I would like you to think of them as almost like antioxidants. They squelch free radicals. So what they do is you have free radical damage in the body. Every time you eat, every time you breathe, believe it or not, your body's creating oxidative-based damage. It's just impossible to get away from, right? But what your body does is it uses these antioxidants and flavonoids, bioavailable flavonoids, to reduce inflammation caused by free radicals, to reduce blood clotting. That's a big one. To reduce blood sugar-based issues, right? High blood sugar. To reduce tumor-based growth. And to help the nervous system, right? Help that myelin sheath so it doesn't start to deteriorate. So that's why we need these things called bioflavonoids. That's why I'm using it as my super nutrient of the week. Now, let me give you a few examples of what bioflavonoids help with. But one of the big ones is they help with blood vessels in general. A lot of people think of it as having a stroke or cardiovascular-based issues. But also it could be things like varicose veins. It could also be within like leaky veins or leaky heart, leaky valves. But it could also be things like hemorrhoids, okay? Hemorrhoids would be a source of like varicose veins, inflamed veins, infected veins. And what we want is to repair the endothelial walls or the walls of the arteries or the walls of the veins. And we want to do that so that we don't have any tears, that we don't have the inflammation there. So yes, you should figure out why the inflammation is there. Is it dietary? Is it lack of exercise? Is it inflammation? Is it stress? Is it oxidized fats? What is it? Because you'll be able to figure that out. You can figure that out through functional medicine lab testing for sure. You could figure that out. And then, of course, looking at your diet, right? Looking at your diet is so important. So we look at vein health. We look at cardiovascular-based health. We look at even liver health, right? Liver health is so important. Your vitamin C is needed for phase 1 of liver detoxification. We've talked about that before as well. And we're wanting, somewhere around 500 milligrams a day of those bioflavonoids. And again, you're going to get that in the 2 capsules of full spectrum vitamin C. But I've always said this, you never need to use the product that I'm talking about. What you need to use is the education and the understanding of what's in that product, because a product is just a name. It's what's in that product that allows you to get well, and obviously getting it from a good source. Let's talk about let me just give you a few more examples, because when I was talking about vitamin C, cold sores and herpes in general, a lack of vitamin C, a lack of zinc, a lack of all those things I talked about and how to destroy viruses. That was a separate podcast. Check that show out, all right? I talked about how to destroy viruses, how to keep them from replicating. 2 of the main things, now there was many, but 2 of the main things were vitamin C and zinc. In my practice, I've been able to help so many people, even if they just use those 2 things. Now, of course, you need all of the other factors, which means every single person alive, I believe, one of the reasons why you get ascorbic acid to work better is because you're taking something like the daily nutritional support or the daily activated multivitamin. It's because of all the cofactors. You cannot take any one vitamin in isolation. People take like B12 by itself or folate by itself or even vitamin C by itself. It's not going to work as well if you don't take the full spectrum multivitamin with it, or the daily activated multi, or the daily nutritional support, because nothing in the body works as an isolate. That's why it's a problem. Like ascorbic acid is a problem if you only used it by itself, but you're using it with a multi, using it with whole food. You're not taking it by itself, using it with other things. So cold sores, herpes-based viruses, bruising. A lot of people blame bruising on lack of iron, right? But it can also be a lack of vitamin C. Super important. And then allergies. I've talked about this before. If you do not have enough vitamin C to combat histamines in your body, you're going to really be at a detriment to your own health. Quercetin, Vitamin C, I've talked about this before. The alkalizing vitamin C, because it has the magnesium in that, the calcium. Calcium helps with allergies. It really does. So that's why I'm a big believer in that product. And again, all of these are backed up by science. If you want the science, simply do this. This is what I want you to do. I want you to literally do the research for yourself. Type in vitamin C helps allergies. How does vitamin C helps allergies? Vitamin C research and allergies. Bioflavonoids and allergies. Quercetin. Quercetin is one of the main things to help with allergies. Type that in, quercetin research on allergies. Remember, if your spouse doesn't believe you, if your doctor doesn't believe you, the research is out there. It's out there. I'm trying to bring that to you. All right, what are some great food sources of bioflavonoids? Well, berries. Berries are so high, right? Berries are super high. Citrus fruits are high. Apples, peaches, plums are high in the bioflavonoids specifically. Vegetables, the cruciferous ones, broccoli, kale, onions. Onions are super high in quercetin, so that can be a great source. Some of my favorite herbs, thyme. Thyme is so good for the digestive tract. It helps to kill candida and bacterial overgrowth. Oregano, another one that does the same thing. Parsley. I try to add parsley into a lot of my dishes as well. Teas can go either way. Teas can actually exacerbate allergies, or they do provide antioxidants. So if you're not an allergy-based person, you can get some great benefits from teas. This is not going to help people with herpes virus. They should actually stay away from it, but bitter chocolate, the 80+% high quality chocolates could help. So a lot of very, very high in bioflavonoids. And then some of the lectin-based ones, but still can be great for some people. Black beans or dark-colored beans, some pecans, walnuts, pistachios, even buckwheat can have some bioflavonoids in it. For me, I would stick to those cruciferous vegetables predominantly, and I would also stick to your high antioxidant berries. Why? Because those are the things that also help to prevent cancer, that help with everything known to man. That's why you can't deprive yourself of what nature meant you to eat the most of, which is the low glycemic fruit, which is all of the vegetables and the root vegetables as well. Super important to being a healthy human being. I hope today's show was helpful. I will link up everything today in the show notes. Simply go to stephencabral.com/805. I'll link up ascorbic acid. I'll link up the alkalizing vitamin C. I'll link up the full spectrum vitamin C that I use on a daily basis. Remember, I use all of them. But on a daily basis, I use the full spectrum vitamin C. I hope this was helpful. Remember, you can do the adult immune protocol, the children's immune protocol, the allergy protocol. We have all of these different protocols. Those are more short-term use, and there's a reason why we use them in functional medicine. Remember, nothing is bad, right? For the most part, all of these things are great. Use them to your advantage. You just might not want to use them for years at a time. You would use your ascorbic acid for short-term periods. You're going to get the benefit from it. You're going to feel healthy. And then hopefully you're going to be able to pass this information on to others. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do feel free to share this show with anyone you can believe it will help. Have an amazing weekend. Tune back tomorrow. I'll be doing the Cabral House Calls, or I'll be answering all of our community's questions each and every weekend. Take care, everyone. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com cabral.com/courses.